Hey, it's Chris Cooper here, and today I'm going to tell you all of the equipment that you need to start a personal training business. When I opened my first studio, I had a loan for $16,000. So I said, well, what equipment can I buy for 16 grand? And so I wound up buying a lot of the stuff that you see here now. Like I've got a lat pull down back there. I've got a leg extension leg curl that you can see. There's a seated row. And then over here, I had this like cable crossover thing. And of course, I used very, very little of it in the actual studio. What I actually used was like a barbell and one cage. I probably could have spent about 5 or 6 thousand bucks and got myself going that way. But I want to show you when I started doing personal training on my own, what exactly I would use. And this is the equipment that you need if you want to start a personal training business too. In my earliest days as a personal trainer, I would actually go to people's houses and train them there. And I quickly realized that I couldn't be carrying like 200 pounds of weights from house to house and up and downstairs and into their basement. So what I actually used to do is pack up a box, and this was it. And the box actually inverts to become a Plyo Box. And I would take minimal equipment and I would program workouts based on the equipment that I could transport around in my old truck really, really easily. So let's see what's in the box here. First off, skipping rope. Okay, very, very useful for doing skills and doing like aerobic type work with a lot of clients. I also had a couple of dumbbells in here. Okay, and you know what? I might change the weight depending on the client, or these days I might even spend real money and buy like adjustable dumbbells. But back then I would carry around maximum 25 pounds in dumbbells, just one set, and I would have some stretch tubing. Okay. Lots of stuff that you can do with this that you can't do with dumbbells. And if you're in somebody's home, you can just throw it over a door or whatever. And then of course the box itself, which has these handles on it. I made this myself. It turns into a nice Plyo box. Okay. Now, sometimes if we were going out to work with a whole group, like we would go into these banks and we would run workouts for their whole staff in the lobby after they closed down, we would actually take like a 24-inch box just because they could hold more stuff. And we'd have maybe some PVC, but it always had to be practical enough for one person to carry all this equipment in one trip from their car to wherever you were training. Now, this type of training doesn't seem fancy. Like it's a lot more fun to have this beautiful gym with, tens of thousands of dollars worth of equipment and space and all that cool stuff that I love about my gym. But when you're starting out, you can actually make a really good income just with the minimal. So what I used to do is I would charge $70 per hour session to go to somebody's house. And I would show up with this box and a piece of paper. And the piece of paper would be their homework. And I would give them a lot of body weight stuff for homework. And I would build a workout for them, just using this minimal equipment. And I was working with about 6 clients at a time. Most people would train about twice a week. So I'd be doing about 12 sessions at $70 per week, making about $840 per week that way. It was a lot of work. It was a pain. I made a ton of mistakes. Like you should always charge your clients in advance because the last thing you want is to drive across town to somebody's house, knock on the door, they're there, they don't answer because they owe you money. Or you finish your last session, you send them a bill and they don't pay you and you've got to go collect. Like that's just not good. The other thing that I should have been doing is charging a premium for in-home coaching. When somebody comes to a gym and you're doing personal training for 70, 85 bucks an hour, that's great, but that's like the price where you are. If you're going to their home, you're adding the travel time. Like you can't book back-to-back clients. You've got to have a buffer in there to drive, and you're doing them an extra service. So you should be charging a premium for that. What kind of training would I do if I showed up at somebody's house with minimal equipment or to their workplace or wherever they were, the park, and I met them with a couple of dumbbells, some stretch tubing, a skipping rope, and a Plyo box? What kind of workout would I do? Well, of course, I had to get imaginative, but you can do a strength portion and a conditioning portion to a workout with these tools really, really easily. So for example, if somebody's a brand new beginner, you're going to start by doing some stretching mobility. You might do a little bit of teaching on skipping just as a warm-up, and then you might teach the squat using the squat box. And you might just have them doing a few reps of squats, and that's going to be enough. And then you progress them from the box to an air squat, and that's lots for the strength portion of that workout. If somebody's more advanced, I can really make this tougher. This is a low, small box. So I could have somebody doing an overhead squat with dumbbells to that box, and we can practice there. I could have them doing practicing pistols, like one-legged squats. I could have them doing more of a Bulgarian split squat. I could have them doing a lunge. I could have them putting one hand overhead, and I can make it tough. The beautiful part about equipment is that gravity is also some of the equipment that you can use. And so it's really not hard to get a good strength workout, even with body weight. But with a little box like this, you get that much more. All right. Then from there, I'd probably get into conditioning. And so I'd look at something like, maybe a one-handed snatch, maybe a walking lunge. I'd probably have the skipping rope in there. And I would want to incorporate some kind of pull motion. So I would either use this stretch tubing up over a tree limb or a door in somebody's basement, or I just step on it with one foot and do some upright row type movement that way too. So we've got some balance in their workout. And that's really what the stretch tubing gives you, is a little bit of balance. So there were a few times when I'd show up to work out with somebody, I'd bring in this equipment and they'd say, "That's it? Like, that's your gym?" And then we would get into the workout. They'd have the hardest workout of their life and they would get it. And then the next time when I showed up, maybe I'd pull something a little bit different out of the box. Maybe it was a kettlebell. Maybe it was a medicine ball. And they would think, "Oh no, what's coming out of the goodie box? What's my secret surprise here?" And they wouldn't know that, like, I was taking the same equipment from one client to the next and everybody was getting different workouts, but they were all using the same equipment. All they cared about was that they were getting a good, effective workout that was tailored to their goals. When you're charging for in-home workouts or going off site to visit a client, meeting them where they are, you want to charge a premium. So if you're used to charging $70 for personal training where you are, then you should charge at least 50% more to travel to them. Not because it's really that hard for you and not because you got to take the whole gym with you, but because you cannot book clients back to back if you have to travel from one place to another. It's that travel time that really eats it up for you. You're selling a very premium service by going to meet them, and there's a premium that's going to be attached to that. The good news is that because of that premium, you're not spending all day coaching people. You have a little mental break in between clients as you're driving around. And it's very easy to book 12, 13 sessions a week, charging, $105 and make a decent income doing this. I did it when I quit my job at a treadmill store and I wanted to transition into being a personal trainer. This is how I started. And while I wasn't making crazy money, I was only working with about 8 client hours a week. I could definitely survive off that, and that paid my rent and it bought me groceries and I was actually doing okay. When I actually opened up a studio, I took a bit of a pay decrease, a little cut, because now I had a big rent, facility rent, and I had loans to pay. So it's not a bad idea when you start to do personal training to offer this one-on-one service where your client is. Build up a little bit of a bank, knowing that there's going to be a little bit of a revenue dip when you do open a studio. This can be part of a personal trainer business plan when you're getting started. If you want a complete personal trainer business plan, just click the link below and we'll give it to you for free. And if you like this video, just hit subscribe to get a lot more from us at Two Brain Business. Good luck.